I would like to call to order the regular city council meeting of Monday, December the 12th, 2022 at this time. I would like everyone to please rise for our invocation by Pastor Dale Hendricks of Shady Grove Baptist Church, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you bow with me? Our gracious Heavenly Father, as we bow our heads and our hearts to you tonight, we come grateful for your many blessings that you have placed upon this city. And God, we ask that you will lead every person that is in office, Lord, that you will guide them and give them the strength to do the work that you have called them here to do. And God, as we stop to reflect back upon 2022, we truly can say thank you because you have blessed our city abundantly. And I pray that you will continue to bless this city, to lead us and guide us, and have your will for us in the future. And for that tonight, we say thank you, Lord, for the many blessings you bestowed upon us. And we ask your continual blessings in the precious name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented on pages 1 and 2.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the agenda as approved on pages 1 and 2. All in favor of this motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? There is none. It does carry. Next item is approval of the minutes of A, City Council regular meeting of November 14th, 2022. B, our City Council closed session meeting of November the 14th of 2022, and that was your handout. And C, the City Council regular work session meeting of November the 29th, 2022. What is the pleasure of the council on approval of the minutes as presented?
Make a motion that we approve all three as presented, the regular meeting of November the 14th, closed session for November 14th, and the work session of November the 29th.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of all three council meetings at the same time. So any discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? There is none. It is unanimous. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight on a little chilly December night. It'll be our last meeting of 2022 of your city council. We will now go to mayor comments. Our city staff and city workers have been quite busy this past month. We have finished the official tree lighting for Main Street, and I must say that our Main Street has never looked prettier than it is at this time. I want to thank our Main Street Director, David Day, along with the events coordinator, Mary Beth Tackett, and all of the volunteers of the Cherryville Chamber of Commerce. There is one individual I want to recognize for his relentless endeavor in making our mini park so beautiful this past year. He is one that does not look for recognition, but just goes about his work with enthusiasm and love for our city. A sincere and well-deserved thanks goes out to Gary Dellinger for all his volunteer work with our Chamber of Commerce. And so from the mayor, city council, and all our citizens, thanks, Gary. Last week, we conducted a ribbon cutting for Caramont Family Health Care and Urgent Care, one of our city's newest businesses. A huge crowd was on hand to dedicate this facility, and its doors were open for a personal guided tour. We wish future success for this business, and we want to thank them for locating in Cherryville. With the holiday season comes our annual Whoville celebration, and this year saw some of our largest crowds with estimates of up to 5,000 in attendance. With all the addition of lighted decorations, the event was a huge success as usual. This past Saturday, we held our annual Christmas parade, and it was a great success also. This parade was one of our largest in quite some years. Our streets were lined with large crowds of adults and children alike. Of course, the main attraction was Old St. Nick himself, and thanks to all who participated in this event. On behalf of your mayor, city council, and city staff, we take this opportunity to wish all our citizens a safe and happy holiday season. This concludes the mayor's comments. Next item is citizens to be heard. Citizens that wish to speak may do so by coming to the podium and stating your name and address before you speak, and comments will be strictly held to 5 minutes per person. At this time, do I have any citizen that would like to be heard? Okay, it looks like we don't have anyone that would like to speak tonight. So we'll go on to item 8, and this is recognition of former police chief Cam Jinks, and our city manager Brian Dalton will lead us through this. And if you would come forward, and with family members too, Cam, if you like. And I would ask everyone to please stand.
This time, we want to present Chief Jinks with the Appreciation Award for his 20 years plus of service with the Cherryville Police Department. 6 of those years being as the Chief of Police. Chief Jinks led us through some tough times here in Cherryville, and he done a great job. And I just want to wish him the best in his next endeavor with the Gaston County Sheriff's Office, and presenting this plaque of appreciation for all he did for the city of Cherryville.
Speech? Absolutely.
Mayor, council, and city manager, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's been a fun ride. I mean, I love this place. And to the city staff and department heads, I think we have had a great working relationship, and I want to thank y'all. But the staff at the Cherryville Police Department, in my opinion, are second to none. It's probably the
Well, that's
greatest group
great.
I've ever had a pleasure of working with, so I can't wait to see what they can do in the future. So, thank y'all.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Kim.
Okay, you may be seated. Our next item on our agenda is the consideration of the public hearing in reference to special use permit for 230 Dick Beam Road, and that's GIS parcel number 210764, and this is to allow granite countertops to be built and distributed there. And our planning and zoning director, Alec Blackburn, is going to lead us through that. And this time I would entertain a motion to enter into public hearing.
So moved.
Have a motion to enter into public hearing and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are considered in public hearing at this time.
Thank you, Mayor and council members, city manager, staff, and citizens alike. At this time, our applicant for the special use request at 230 Dick Beam Road, he is not in attendance tonight. So, kind of puts us in a pickle. We can either table this and continue the public hearing to the next city council meeting and hope that he was in attendance. I spoke to him before I left my office, and he said that he would be here and reiterated the time, the location, the address, and everything. So I guess we'll ask for a continuance of this public hearing until the January, what date is that?
9th,
January 9th meeting at 6 p.m. here at 106 South Jacob Street.
Does he have to be present for us to approve this?
He doesn't, but he has to agree on what we write down as far as the conditions.
Okay.
Can we put it off
So,
till maybe later in the night to see if he gets here?
We can. Palmer, as the city attorney, do you see anything wrong with that? As moving the agenda around a little bit?
Okay. All right, we won't entertain a motion at this time to table this hearing, but I would need a motion to exit public hearing at this time.
I make a motion to exit public hearing at this time and move this item to the end of our agenda in case he shows up. Second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to table until later on, if possible, would be item 17 in our agenda, which now moves us on to our next item, and this is consideration of a public hearing, and this is in regards to rezoning property located on the corner of South Mountain Street and South Pink Street. That's GIS partial number 207096, from general manufacturing and commercial to residential R9. And our planning and zoning director, Alex Blackburn, is here, but I would entertain a motion to enter into public hearing at this time.
Make a motion to go into public hearing.
Have a motion and a second to enter public hearing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, there is none, so we are now considered in public hearing.
Again, thank you. So on September 28th of 2022, Mr. Charles Alvarez here, he is the owner of that property there at the corner of South Mountain, South Pink Street. He approached my office and was questioning whether he could put a residential single-family home or two on that property. As it currently stands in our zoning ordinance, GMC does not allow for single-family homes in its jurisdiction. However, he requested an application for a change of zoning designation to the R9 single-family home. Now, what the R9 is primarily single-family residential up to duplexes, but it sets the minimum lot size at 9,000 square foot. The setbacks are 30-foot front, 8-foot side, and 25-foot rear. So it's without going into a special or a conditional zoning district, that would be the smallest lot available in the regular ordinance of the city of Cherryville. So his current plan is to put at minimum one house, possibility of two houses on that property. We have went through the general statute guidelines as far as public notification, 2 ads in the newspaper, mailed all abutting and adjacent property owners, and put 2 signs on the property. Mr. Alvarez is here tonight if he would like to speak as far as his plans and concerns about that property. I would invite him to do so at y'all's leisure.
Okay. Mr. Alvarez, would you like to speak to council concerning this matter?
He has mentioned everything that I would like to do, so.
Okay.
And so at this time, I will reiterate what is found on the last few pages of the packet before you, that this property in relationship to the future land use plan as adopted in August of 2012 does have it showing as staying as neighborhood business. However, the planning board has unanimously approved the rezoning application, viewing that as more of a guideline, a guiding document, but not set in stone. It can be changed.
May I
If-
say something?
Yes, ma'am, it is public comment.
Please state your name, please,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and address.
My name is Marcelette Rollins, and I live at 706 South Pink Street. And I'm right there at that corner just about. And I'm not objecting, and I don't know what they're gonna do, and I really don't care. But that's really gonna be a dangerous situation if you make it a residential and that road's already hot. If y'all hadn't come and cleaned off those bushes at that lot, you couldn't even see to get down that road or to see what was coming down the road or up the road. Okay, I got a quirk with the neighbor right now. He won't do nothing to that property. He's got a house just like mine. Dixie Lumber Company built those houses in 1960, and it's just sitting there, and it's just like an eyesore. So if you decide to build 2 houses there, and if a family moves in with kids, and backing in and out. Everybody I done already got hit in my driveway. So it's hard to back out. Everybody backs their cars in our neighborhood because that road's done got hot now. And I'm not, what you do is your business, what the city does is their business. I'm just telling it like it is, cause it's very dangerous now. And it's gonna get dangerous worse. Cause, if you put two houses there, that restaurant's right across the street, Caputo's, and then all those houses up the street. And then you put those two right there, and then that's the industrial plant right there, and he has trucks coming in all the time. So, you know, I'm just stating my opinion. You're welcome, honey.
Would you like to reply to that, Mr. Alvarez? You're fine with that, okay?
Are the residents gonna face South Mountain Street or face Pink Street?
Which way is their driveway gonna be coming in and out, either into the South Mountain or coming off of Pink? You don't have a plat.
Which side is on the,
The Caputo's is on the South Mountain side,
Yeah.
on the other road?
South Pink.
Yeah, South Pink. South Pink.
Excuse me, Mrs. Rollins, what road were you talking about was hot?
Both of them, Pink and Mountain.
Okay, what's the speed limit on those?
A Honda. It's really 35.
You know,
They come across that hill.
And,
Cause I done got hit in my driveway. I've gotten hit.
okay.
and so,
You're talking about coming up Pink Street.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stop at the
before
stop sign.
before you get to the stop
And see,
sign.
they cleaned off the shrubbery that had roads. You couldn't even see to get out. You had to get out in the road to see what was coming up the road, cause you could not see at all.
He's improved it since he's owned it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, he's really improved it, but then now he wants to build houses on it. And then if the driveway come out mountain, it's gonna be dangerous. It really is.
and so Chris King may be able to clarify this or correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe South Mountain Street at that position is DOT jurisdiction. So they'd have, if he gets a driveway to South Mountain Street, he'd have to go through DOT approval permitting. Well, he'd come to me first and then it'd go on to DOT.
Okay. Would they have to do an impact analysis?
Not for anything
Not for
like that,
just-
not for a single family.
Okay. All right.
Ellen, he doesn't have a plat of what he's planning to put there, right?
No, ma'am, he
So-
does, he's not required to because it's not looking for a special use. It's just a rezoning. And it's gonna go below the required 20 subdivision lots to hit our subdivision
So
ordinance.
it's business all the way back from him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now, across the road, well, across both roads would be residential, so it wouldn't technically be spot zoning. It'd be pretty close, but not
Mhm.
really.
Yeah,
Since it
be
is
close.
bordered on two sides.
Okay. Do I have any other citizen that would like to speak in this public hearing at this time? Okay, you've heard the evidence on both sides. I would entertain a motion that we exit public hearing at this time.
Make a motion to do that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to exit public hearing at this time. All in favor say aye. It is unanimous, okay. It's open for discussion by council now. We will have to do a finding of fact. And,
Personally, I don't see a problem with it. You got houses across Mountain Street from it, you got a house across Pink Street from it. To me, it looks like it's gonna blend into the neighborhood. The business that's, or the warehouse that's behind it, it faces on, opens onto Pink Street, so it doesn't, won't be really blocking Mountain Street. It's already facing the other way.
okay, any other discussion from council? If not, we'll do the statement of consistency in the city of Cherryville requirement of section 19.1.10 of the city of Cherryville zoning ordinance the Cherryville City Council held a public hearing on December 12th, 2022 to consider rezoning parcel number 207096. After the public hearing and discussion of the rezoning, the council draws the following conclusions. 1, it is the council's conclusion that the proposed rezoning is or is not consistent with the City of Cherryville land use plan adopted in August of 2012.
Yes.
2, the council finds the proposed rezoning is or is not reasonable and is or is not in the public interest. This conclusion is based on the following.
Is on both.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Ordered this 12th day of December 2022, Mayor H.L. Beam and Paige Green, City Clerk. Okay. So now we will move on to item 11, and this is consideration to set a public hearing. Oh, you're right. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay, after the consistency, statement of consistency, we needed a motion from council to approve this conditional, not conditional, this statement of consistency.
I'll make a motion to approve this statement of consistency.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept this statement of consistency. All in favor?
Does that include the rezoning itself?
And the rezoning.
Okay. Make sure we get that clear. So it does require the rezoning too. Okay. Our clerk has that down. Okay. All right. All in favor of this motion by council, please say aye. All opposed? Okay, it carries. So we're good on that. Excuse me for about to skip the vote there. So we'll go to item 11 now, which is consideration to set a public hearing for January the 9th, which is our next regular city council meeting of 2023. And this is in reference to proposed text amendment for the consideration of permitting food trucks to the zoning ordinance. And we have our planning and zoning director, Alec Blackburn, with us. And that's pages 32 through 35 in your agenda packets. Is that two?
Or is it on the second?
I think it is.
Yes, 32.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
All right, done. And we'll go to,
section 2.
Yes, sir. I'll send you a letter tomorrow
I've got
stating all
two
this,
more under
and we'll contact Gaston County as well.
oh, yeah. There it is. Okay. So, okay, Alec, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So recently, well, several months ago, I've been questioned by several people about food trucks and the possibility of a food truck coming into the city of Cherryville. We have a somewhat ordinance on it in the zoning ordinance pertaining to food trucks. However, it would have to be required to, a single food truck would be required to go through a special use and a temporary use permit through the planning board and the city council. So a 3 to 4 month process. Whereas I could approve a festival, a circus, a rodeo, a 4-H group or a nonprofit organization event, Christmas tree sales, and one other thing that I'm blanking on right now, in my office for $25 permit. So I could approve a festival with 15 food trucks by myself, but I would have to go through a 3 to 4 month process for a single food truck. So city manager Brian Dalton and I, we started discussing possibilities of what can we do, how can we make this clearer and make it a more streamlined process. And ultimately we started asking around, calling other municipalities, and found the town of Dallas had a very agreeable ordinance pertaining to food trucks under theirs. And we pretty much kind of added a few things, took out a few things as far as food trucks, and the planning board approved it unanimously. It would be, let's see, 3 pages. And we had, right now we're proposing 6 year-long permits for food trucks where they they could have a site, as long as they have property owner permission, they have to present that prior to getting a permit. That's part of their required packet that they have to submit, as well as their health inspections from either Gaston County or their home county, and we can verify that through the Gaston County Health Department. We also, as you'll see in there, monitoring noise levels, trash. They would be completely self-sufficient, not relying on city utilities. So if they open up a manhole and start dumping their waste, well, there's grounds to deny their permit and fine them for illegal dumping. And so this would be, it would go before y'all as well to set the fee for what a permit is. I believe the town of Dallas usually charges $400 for a year-long permit and either $25 or $50 for a single-day event. Now, this would not go towards anything that David Day or the city sponsors, so our food truck Thursdays or our third Thursdays, they would not be required to get a permit. They would be invited guests of the city, so that would cancel that one out. However, in this ordinance, it would allow us to say, hey, you're a food truck located in the business district. For safety purposes, we're going to have you move your location during the time of this event. Are we going to use it? Probably not, but if we need to use it, we have it to do that. This would also ride on if the property owner decides to kick them off of their property, that would nullify their permit. So they'd have to keep property owner and everybody else happy as well.
And they would be required to carry insurance also?
Yes. I believe it is. Yes, insurance coverage on their operations and facilities, and name the city of Cherryville as additionally insured in a minimum of $500,000.
Okay. Okay, so, anything else, Elliot? Okay,
If y'all want to add or subtract anything, just let me know and we can work it out.
okay. And we can do that prior to January the 9th?
Correct.
Right, okay. What's the council's pleasure on setting this public hearing for January the 9th, 2023?
Make a motion, we set a public hearing.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to set the public hearing for January the 9th, 2023, regarding this proposed text amendment for the consideration of permitting food trucks to the zoning ordinance. Okay, all in favor of this motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed, there is none. Okay, we'll go to item 12 is consideration again to set a public hearing for January the 9th, 2023, and this is regarding zoning text amendment for clarification of the special use process. And our planning and zoning director, Alec Blackburn, again will lead us through that. That will be 36 through 46 on your laptops.
Thank you, Mayor. So with the passing of 160D by the General Assembly, it changed a lot of things as far as zoning and just about everything else in my path of career. So the city, I believe, sent their zoning ordinance off to the Central Iowa School or Council of Government for their input on it, just to make sure we're all legal and not above reproach as far as our tactics and our ordinance. They changed a few things, and in that process, the first half of the ordinance stated that the city council would be the ultimate decision maker on special use request, and the last half said that it was the Board of Adjustment was the final decision maker. We're in that kind of limbo stage. We're trying to fix that. So with this text amendment, we have made it that the city council is the final judgment for the consideration of special use permits, and the planning board, rather than the Board of Adjustment, will make the recommendation as they do for rezonings and text amendments. This passed with only one person opposition on the the planning board for this text amendment. As you can see, I've highlighted everything that we're adding and struck through what we're subtracting. Several of those that had Board of Adjustment and then in parentheses city council, so it was kind of a quagmire as far as what interpretation you wanted to use, going all the way back from section 5.8.2 all the way to, I think, part of 19 or 15. Yeah, 15. And then in section 15.5.4, I just noticed a grammatical error, and that aggravated me, so I decided to throw that in while we're at it.
Okay. So this is really bookwork cleaning up some of the
Correct.
zoning text. And it's basically doing away with Board of Adjusters and putting it all to city council.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Now, they would still be in charge of, let me find it here, actually.
Is the Board of Adjustment still gonna have part of it, Alec?
As part of the special use process, no, ma'am.
No.
No, the
They
role
go
as
to
the
the
planning
planning
board
board.
will make a recommendation
Just
on
like
it.
they
It will
do
still
now.
be up to the city council to hold the quasi judicial hearing as far as swearing in and sworn testimony.
So you'll be striking that out of 15.5.4 on there also. Look on page 46 and see
Council,
it.
what it all boils down to, if you remember, probably prior to Ellen, getting here, we had a situation where in our zoning ordinance book, it had three different sections. One section said city council made a decision,
Right.
one section said board of adjustment, and one section said either or. Here, we're making it where city council is the final say, so there's no question.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am, I'll have that struck and through.
strike that out too.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does any council member have any other questions for planning and zoning director Alec Blackburn? If not, do I have a motion from council to set this public hearing for January the 9th, 2023 for the zoning text amendment for clarification of the special use process?
Make a motion, we set it, the date for January 9th.
Have a motion and a second to set the public hearing for January 9th, 2023 for the zoning text amendment for clarification. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. All opposed, it is unanimous. Okay. We'll go to item 13, consideration of amendment to the cemetery fees, and our city clerk, certified city clerk, Paige Green, will lead us through that, and that's pages 47 through 49 in your agenda packets. And again, this is bookkeeping that's necessary when we get changes in our charges from the cemetery.
That's correct, Mayor and Council. As you can see before you in red, I put the changes that our contractor actually went up. He went up $10 for cremation opening, $5 for an infant opening grave, adult grave opening 20, and oversized adult grave, he went up 20. I'm just showing those increases on here. If you all want to pass along those charges that Green and Son has, they will be charging us come January 1st. It's also been brought to my attention that maybe you might want to consider, instead of making it $3.95 and us amending these every year with the price increase that Greens passes on, you may want to make it $4.25 and it stay that way for several years. It is totally up to you all what you want to do. I just want you to know what their increase is.
They've gone up every
And basically, they have gone up every year.
It does like a fuel surcharge, yeah.
So we go through this same thing every year. Okay, and,
It's totally up to you all.
okay. Does council want to discuss these fees, or they want to accept the recommended fees, or do we want to go so that we don't address this every year, that we go with a fee that we can keep for several years?
May I speak?
Mm-hmm.
Is that for opening and closing a grave? Oh, okay,
Not the grave itself, opening and closing.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the only part he goes up on. That's what he does for us. That's what he's contracted out
okay,
to do.
okay, I got you.
And these would be effective January 1st, right?
You
Okay.
all made it effective January 1st, so
I think we all just
part of your motion.
accept the fees as they come,
Yeah.
and then we can talk about the other ones later.
Okay.
Hey, does he still charge more for funerals after 4 o'clock?
Yes,
How
he
is that
does.
done? Because I see a lot that go 3 o'clock funerals run way past 4, so does that pick up?
If the funeral is planned after, what it says, funeral scheduled
Scheduled
to
to be
begin,
in.
after 4 p.m. will incur an additional charge of $500. Especially like this time of year, he does not have lights and all out
No,
there
it's
to
dark.
assist him in securing a grave, so, yeah. And
As
he
long as
says-
it's scheduled before, it
As
doesn't
long
matter
as
how
it's
long
4
it
o'clock or
goes. It
before,
only
you're
falls
okay.
into there if
That's
they
right.
schedule it.
After.
Yeah. With funerals
And it
getting
could go
later,
in,
it's-
at
Yeah.
this time you do want it 4. If it's a long service,
Yeah.
it can go to dusky dark
Yeah.
or pretty much nighttime. Okay. Does council have any questions for our city clerk in regards to these fees? If you want to accept them, I think, Councilman Parker says, you want to put that in the form of a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept
The fees as presented, which will be $395 for grave opening, $345 for baby grave opening, $650 for adult grave opening, and oversized adult grave opening of $750.
Effective January 1st.
January first.
Okay. Do I have a second to the motion?
Did.
Okay, we have the motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. All opposed, it is unanimous. Okay. Go on to item 14 is consideration of resolution in reference to acceptance of the American Rescue Plan grant offer of $3 million and we have City Manager Brian Dalton. That goes to page 50 in your laptops. And so,
Mayor, council, this is, I received this in the mail the other day from the state regarding the interconnected water plan with Cleveland County Water. And this is just a resolution that they wanna have on hand, just authorizing myself and city staff to cooperate with them with the funding of the project. So I need the resolution adopted, then I send it back into the state. They sent the resolution directly to us.
okay, does any council member have any questions for City Manager Dalton in regards to the accepting this resolution? Then I would need a motion from council to accept the American Rescue Plan grant offer of $3 million for this resolution.
Make a motion to accept the resolution.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the resolution as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? There is none. Okay, item 15 is an update, and this is in reference to the National League of Cities water line warranty. Again, our city manager will lead us through that, and that's pages 51 through 62.
Yes, Mayor, City Council, I did speak to Mr. Merritt, who is the Assistant City Manager with the City of Shelby the other day, and he said they've participated in this program for approximately 3 years now. He said he has not had any problems with the program at all. It is an insurance policy that homeowners can take out with the National League of Cities, and they are recommended by North Carolina League of Municipalities. He said he's only had one complaint in the 3 years that he knows of, and it was a situation where somebody tried to claim that National League of Cities had a contractor from New York come down here to fix a water line. And, you know, he pretty much wrote that off as that didn't happen, because I don't think anybody would come here from New York to fix a water line. But he said the city of Shelby has had good results with this program and has not had any complaints with it. But they do allow them to send out marketing material with their logo on it. And basically, they provide the addresses for the water and sewer customers.
Could be city's logo on this.
Well, that's what they do. Now, we have the right to approve anything they send out before they send it out. But he said the city of Shelby does allow their logo to be placed on it.
It's nothing coming back to the city, because the city's not gonna have any bearing on this at all.
It is
So
something the
I mean, that's
homeowners,
why we need to be voting for it.
Well, we do get revenue from it.
there is
even as minor as it is, and I do believe Shelby does not get any revenue from it, and they're doing it without any money coming in for them. We would get, I think it's 50 cents per plan
50 cents
a
for
year.
any plan that, an individual homeowner takes out. A homeowner could take out up to 3 insurance policies. You know, the water line, the sewer line, and the plumbing inside the house.
That means we're gonna get $1.50 a year out of that customer. Is it worth maybe putting up with the harassment that in case something goes wrong?
Looks like it's actually per month.
Per month?
Or is it per month?
Per month?
Oh, yeah, per month. I'm sorry.
Woo,
Yeah.
okay.
But like I said, I'm just telling you what Mr. Merritt said, is they've had nothing but good results.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't want the citizens, something happens to the citizen, come back on the city.
No, it is not our program, it's their insurance program.
Well, if I lived in certain parts of this city,
Without a doubt.
I would love to have $1.50 to know my sewer lines and water lines were protected.
And this covers all the way to the main. It's just something you offer citizens, and they can choose to take it or not.
And they could really offer it to the citizens without going through us, could they not?
They absolutely
can.
could.
Mhm.
We're just basically providing them with free leads and our stamp of,
And in reality, they
Approval.
can get those if they really choose
Right.
to.
And some large cities, I know Whiteville, Hendersonville, Sanford, Albemarle, all are doing it. Mooresville,
There's 23 cities, I think, throughout the state of North Carolina.
okay.
Who signs these citizens up for this?
They do.
they do.
It's
They
between,
do.
we don't do anything.
Nothing goes through the city.
We're done. We do nothing.
I said, I don't have a problem with it.
What are you looking for from us tonight?
We would need a vote to accept this National League of Cities waterline warranty to be distributed with, using our logo to reach our citizens. And it's still up to the citizen if they want to take 1, 2, or 3 of the policies. It's still up to the city. We're not mandating anything that they have to do it. Okay.
I'm just worried that, it's called a warranty program. I'm just worried that if they see City of Cherryville warranty program, that they're gonna think we are warranting the pipes. So that's the only thing that bothers me about it, so.
And that's where, like Shelby, Mr. Merritt said, you approve everything before it
Yeah.
gets sent out.
So you're saying that we could limit them using our logo on any material that's distributed?
You sign
So
off,
that
you
might
can
be
take
something
that.
we want to consider.
They would make a statement somewhere on there that the city of Cherryville's not sponsoring or not affiliated with that program.
And like I said,
In 23 towns out of North Carolina is not a whole lot, consider how many municipalities are in North Carolina.
and Mr. Huffeller made a good point. We can always call them back and say, hey, how about we just stay completely out of it? If you wanna send stuff out to our citizens, that's fine, and they can make a decision to take it or not. But like the mayor said, it does give people in certain areas of town that have older, they have older sewer lines. It gives them an opportunity to get an insurance policy for $7.75 per month, where they don't have to worry about a thing, and they don't have to worry about, a plumber coming out there like a guy got told down on Chavis the other day, he wanted $25,000 to fix his sewer line. So, it just gives the citizens an option.
And they go all the way to the connection, not just to the end of their property.
That's correct.
They would be responsible for the tap all the way if it's in the center of the road.
Yep.
Or-
If you look on page 51, you can see there what all it covers on water, sewer, and internal plumbing.
Okay.
And this is areas of Asheville, Henderson Mountains, Cherokee, it's all over the place, and then even some east. But, not
I
bad.
think for a town like us with a lot of older homes, it's a good thing.
For pretty cheap.
Yeah, I think the policy is a great idea. I just don't know about attaching our name to it. I don't wanna confuse people.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
But
a
then
warranty makes
again,
it sound like the city of Cherryville's giving them a warranty.
You know, I think
And
that
it's
might be
this-
something you have a disclaimer in there.
That's what I'm saying, if they make a statement like that,
Yeah.
it'd be a lot better.
and like city manager said, we approve it before it goes out from them. So,
They'll put a statement in there saying it's not affiliated.
I'm sure they know how to cover themselves too. Okay,
And like I
to-
said, it's just something we can look at and we can get some more information.
What would it be, $180 a year if you did three?
I think it's a good idea. Cause a whole lot of people don't take care of their pipes and stuff up under their houses
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. They just assume that it's gonna work.
I haven't changed mine in 50 years, so I definitely
I just
will
wanted to
buy
be
this
sure.
policy.
Yeah, you better.
Mine's,
I done changed mine, buddy.
yeah, and a lot of the houses have the old terracotta, and some of them even have the galvanized pipes that plumbers don't even put those in anymore because of the problems they have with them.
You
So,
just better say a prayer and they don't bust. That's all I got to tell you.
amen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we word this, motion?
That I would defer to our city attorney for the correct way that we wanted.
Or should we have
We have
Brian
to
talk
vote,
to them
I
and
was
then
gonna
us?
say, if you would like, maybe I can see if I can get them to send us a copy of what they sent out in Shelby. So we can look at it and then go from there, and then y'all can vote on it at the work session.
Okay, so we can
If
table it.
somebody would come here where we could ask them questions
Yep.
It's possible to.
and see some of that
Okay,
documentation.
would you like to table it to work session?
Yeah, if you can get them to come up with a statement
Yeah.
saying that
See,
we're out, it's being sent out to our citizens, but we're not affiliated with
okay.
the city. I don't know how to word that, but something like that. Let them know that it's not a city program.
All you'd have to do at this point is just say you want to table it.
Yeah, I'm just saying. In the
Okay.
meantime, you get that
Right,
wording
okay.
from them or work
Direction
sessions
from
on the
council.
27th.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to table.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to table the warranty until our work session, which will be January, it'll be,
December 27th.
27.
I'm not sure we'll have it.
If,
That's to be determined.
okay, okay.
To the next work session to be determined.
So we'll table it to the next
be
work
gone.
session.
Okay,
You'll be gone.
okay, you want to put the motion that we table it till next work session, regardless of when that is. Okay, we have a motion to table this until, till next work session to be determined. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. All opposed, there is none. We will now move to item 16, which we had inserted the public hearing for the special use permit. So at this time, I would have to entertain a motion that we table that until January the 9th.
Is he here?
No, he's here now.
He's here.
Oh, he's here? Oh, okay. Good. I didn't see him come in. Okay, great. All right, so at this time, we will, item 16 will now be consideration of the public hearing in reference to special use permit for 230 Dick Beam Road, GIS parcel 210764, allowing granite countertops. I would entertain a motion from council that we enter public hearing at this time.
Make a motion to enter public hearing?
We have a motion and a second to enter public hearing at this time. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, there is none. So we have our planning and zoning director, Alec Blackburn, and we're gonna go back to page 14 through 23.
Gotta go back to
Done.
section one.
And that'll take us back to one.
Back up, right.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Which is page 14. Okay, Alec, you
And
have
so
the
it-
floor.
Since this is a quasi judicial matter, I would request that anybody who is wishing to speak on this matter would be sworn in at this time.
I have one in the car.
Okay.
I got one on my phone, just saying.
He's got one he's gonna
Hey, there's more important
do.
things.
Hey, there is.
Y'all need to keep a Bible in
Gideon says he will provide us one.
Sir. We'll wait for our So I will go in. I'll fill y'all with my voice while we wait. So this is a quasi judicial matter. The next step would be the Superior Court. So everything we say in here, we have to have a sworn testimony because this is the closest thing that you can get to a courtroom without being before the judge. So my testimony is going to be purely fact-driven as far as our ordinance. His testimony will be fact-driven. If anybody else wishes to speak on this matter, they would also have to be presenting facts and open themselves up to cross-examination by the other side. This, unlike many courtrooms, this is not adversarial. This is just hashing out the facts and the special conditions that we will put on this property that are within our reach and reason as the city of Cherryville.
Yeah.
Place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
I do. You can. I'll give my little spiel first. Thank you. So, well, back before the summer, your applicant, Charles, no, you're Carlos. Carlos and Mr. Dennett, the owner of the building, approached my office about what the possibility he could have of that building. He was trying to get True Green in there. That didn't pan out, but he was trying to get something nice, something that he thought the city would need, and a tenant for his building. Carlos stepped up and said, well, that looks like a good building for me. He wants to open up a stone, by definition, our ordinance stone fabrication, but it's going to be a kitchen and bathroom countertop, granite, marble, cut stone. He's not going to be cutting it straight from a huge slab. He's going to have it sent to him, and he's just going to be making the special cuts where the sink and your faucets and everything like that goes, so just the fine-tuning of it. We have the sworn or the notarized signature of the property owner saying that he is in full support of this request, as well as the terms and conditions of a third-party company who will be handling the bulk waste from the applicant here, Mr. Carlos. I was going for your last name. Nieto. I'll go with Carlos.
Nieto.
And so the bulk waste will be picked up by a third-party company, leaving the only thing that the city utility company or the public works will be picking up would primarily be just office waste, your papers and stuff like that. I've also spoke to the applicant about the water reclamation because the main reason that this is a special use instead of a use permitted by right is that the potential for the cutting and tailings to go into the city line and damage our pumps, our sewer lines, and those material. It is considered a heavy use if that sediment does reach our lines. He has assured me, and his plan, what he will be doing is getting a water reclamation system so that it will be filled up, and he'll just be recycling that water so that that water does not hit our city sewer lines. That will also be a third-party company, which they require money to do their job, and he was not going to spend the money on that until he gets a yes or no from us. He does have documentation from the third-party company as far as picking up waste, but not the water reclamation. I'm sure he can speak at length on that, and that will be one of the conditions of approval, if y'all so desire, in the approving of that, or of this request. He's going to he has proposed that he uses the existing building with no expansions of the building. I believe there is roughly, I want to say 11 to 13 acres on that property. That building is, in comparison to the size of the property, is a very small fairly small building. However, no expansion is looked at this time. We will look to section 5.2 of the Cherryville zoning ordinance requiring a fencing of some sort to be put around the use, just so that it is not visible from neighbors or any other residential use surrounding it. He has agreed to put up a fence that would block sight of the back rear of the property where most of the storage may take place. And so several of the conditions that were recommended by the planning board, Board of Adjustment at their meeting, was that the screening with a fence, maybe some plants, and the filtration system for the water so that it gets reclaimed and not pumped into the city line.
How many employees do you think you'll have?
Probably around 6 or 7. I just need to do the bridge saw, the cutting machine, 2 to 3 to polish, and then 2 to 3 to go in and install.
You got a sales guy going out too?
Doing a little bit of everything at the moment.
And for any citizen that's wondering exactly where this is, that's the old masonry building owned by Brown, Martin Brown. Okay. So it's considered part of the Sunbeam. I think that was in Sunbeam. Yeah. Park. I think it was the first building in the Sunbeam Park. Okay. Okay, excuse me, Alex. Alec, do you have anything else?
Not unless you have any questions for us.
Okay. Any citizen would like to speak regarding the special use permit for this facility? Now's your chance. Sure.
I just wanted to specify everything on the filtration system. It's going to be a closed loop, and it's going to be pretty much a dual modular system, so you pretty much use the same water all year through. It'll have this, I think it's called a polyelectrolyte that uses some sort of, not too scientific, it'll separate the sludge from the water, and then we'll be able to collect the sludge in sludge bags, which pretty much dehydrates the sludge and turns it into like a cement type. I've talked to Clean Earth, and they're able to use something with it, whether it is turning it into cement or blocks or anything like that, but they want to do a contract, which in turn I can't sign anything at the moment because I'm not sure whether I'll be able to stay in that. So other than that, yeah, there's not going to be any need of throwing the water into any drainage or anything. We'll have to fill up the tank probably 3-4 months.
Okay.
So the sludge will start taking the water.
So it is treated before it's reclaimed back for use again.
And then we also have Carolina Waste, which is getting rid of all of our remnants and all our excess stones that we don't use, and they're perfectly fine getting rid of them. You can also get rid of the sludge bags. Either way, everything's going to be properly disposed, and then yeah, we're not really using much of the water, or we'll try not to use much of the water coming in. There won't be anything coming out. So.
Any competition in town for that kind of business?
No, there isn't, because it's because of the special use permit. So.
Okay. Okay. Any other citizen like to speak at this time? If not, do I have a motion to exit the public hearing at this time?
I will add that my office received one phone call concerning the notices mailed out and signs put on the property. It was from the Carter family there at 141 Wallaby Road. They just moved in several months ago. They questioned what it was, and when I explained what it was and that it wasn't going to be adding on to the building, their response was, "Oh, awesome, okay, thank you," and hung up.
Okay.
So just for clarity, I will say we had a conversation about it.
Okay.
Sorry, just to add, operation hours should be able to
6, 7, one of the fish sauce can be allowed. Regardless, it shouldn't reach anybody, but just in case anybody's concerned about the noise. More than 5 o'clock, it shouldn't be operating.
Okay, so there's not a lot of noise
There isn't
incurred
a
with
it's on the
this.
parking lot, you barely hear the song.
Okay.
Like I said, I know that's a lot of.
All right. All right. Okay. Entertain a motion to exit public hearing.
Make a motion, we exit public hearing.
Okay, have a motion to exit public hearing and a second. All in favor say aye. Okay, we're now out of public hearing. Any discussion by council at this time in regards to the special use permit? If not, then we'll go to the finding of fact. The property location is 230 Dick Beam Road. Parcel ID number is 210764. The use is for cut stone and stone products, parentheses, stone fabrication for kitchen/bathroom countertops. Finding the facts. 1, the use will not materially endanger the public health or safety if located where proposed and developed according to plan.
Yes.
And 2, the use meets all required conditions and specifications, yes or no?
Yes.
And 3, the use will not substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting property unless the use is a public necessity, yes or no?
Yes.
And finally, 4, the location and character of the use, if developed according to the plan as submitted and approved, will be in harmony with the area in which it is to be located and will be in general conformity with the Cherryville Land Development Plan.
Yes.
Okay. I would entertain a motion now to accept the conditional use permit.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit.
With the conditions that were listed.
Yeah, with the listed conditions.
Okay. Have a motion and a second to accept the conditional use permit with the conditions as presented. All in favor say aye. All opposed, there is none. And having held a public hearing on December the 12th, 2022, and in light of the finding of fact listed herein, the following action was taken by the Cherryville City Council, and that was approval with conditions, signed by Mayor H.L. Beam and City Clerk Paige Green. Congratulations.
I'll be looking forward to being in everybody's kitchens. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks for coming.
Good luck.
Okay, we'll move to item 16 on our agenda now, and that's other business. Do I have any other business to come before council by council at this time?
Mayor, if our next work session is gonna be in January, actually, the next one scheduled is the 27th of this month. City offices will be closed for the Christmas holiday, but if we're going to cancel that meeting, we need to vote.
I'll make a motion to cancel the upcoming work session scheduled for December 27th.
Have a motion and a second to cancel the scheduled work session for December 27th, 2022. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, there is none. Okay. Any other business from council?
I'll let you know, I won't be working late at Gardner Webb next semester, so.
Oh, so we
I'll be
can,
out at 4:30, so I'll be able to make it for the work session.
okay, so we can move our work sessions up.
We
Back
had
to
already done it
5:30.
through November anyway, so I just wanted to make sure we won't need to change it back. Don't change it again.
Okay.
Should be good.
All right.
On that on to the next meeting.
Yeah, we can, we
We
can.
voted just to do it through November.
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay. Any other business from council? If not, any business from staff?
I'll just say that, you have the financial reports that are in the packet, and if you see there, you'll see general fund is still down for
We
the
need
year.
to
but
pass
if you
these
look at the
over to-
percentage up there, we've only collected 30% of property taxes through the end of October. Water and sewer, same thing. We haven't transferred the money yet. We'll do that probably the first of the year. Transfer the money from the
ARPA.
funds to help pay for the ditch and the generator, and that will also be in the pot. And I would just draw your attention to the total balance. As of the end of this one, it's $12,120,366.
Got enough to operate another year then. Oh, okay, does any council member have any questions in regard to our financial summary report? And of course, this is for October 31st, 2022. Okay. How does the ditch look, Larry?
Looks good.
That's-
They got a little bit more work to do. I think they're coming back. It was gonna be pushing it, getting it this week and next week, and they got some people out, so, they're gonna start back on the first of the year, January.
Okay, so it won't be completed during this year, it'll be after first of the year, 2023? Okay, all right, fine. Anything else from staff? If not, do I entertain a motion for adjournment?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, there is none. We are adjourned.